Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of our NASCAR Heat 5 career mode here on the channel. Today we take on round 2 of the second round of the playoffs here, the round of 12, Kentucky Speedway. The last time NASCAR will come to this racetrack, as it has been announced this weekend, Nashville Super Speedway is set to replace this circuit next season. As you see the playoff leaderboard on your screen coming into this weekend, we as well had some more news. Team splits. Legacy Motor Club has split from GMS's partnership that they came into the series with a few years back, and now they will operate on their own. Legacy Motor Club will have its own team, but GMS will now operate a car on the grid next season. This is a bit of a late season happening, so their driver is to be determined as well. Looking at the playoff grid, we mentioned we are only a couple of points above the cut line coming into this second race. It was not a pretty Richmond Raceway. Joey Logano comes in the first one out. He is only 1 point behind the RFK driver of Chase Briscoe. Other drivers below the cut line, Chris Buescher, William Byron, as well as Shane Van Gisbergen. And SVG, he's going to need to step up. Byron as well. They are both going to have to step up. They are both over 20 points below the cut line. SVG has a road course to rely on going into Watkins Glen, but I don't know if that's going to be enough. He has been winless now for over a season. However, Shane Van Gisbergen's last win in this career mode was not at a road course, it was at an oval. He continues to be strong everywhere we go, it feels like, but the playoffs haven't quite gone the best for him. Now he's been in position to win a few races this season, and it quite hasn't worked out for him, unfortunately. I was pretty happy with my Pepsi 19 Toyota Camry here. Of course, only a handful of races left in this team, in this car, as we come through towards qualifying. You might be wondering, where's the episodes been? If you pay attention to my streams and whatnot, specifically I've been talking about it. I went to the 24 Hours of Daytona. I was gone for 2 weeks in Florida. I'm back home, obviously, now, and now we're actually rolling with the videos and the push to end Season 4 and head to JRM for Season 5. I am also going to confirm right now, I have a very special project in the works right now, but I'm not going to tell you guys what it is, but it's very cool. It's a career mode, but stay tuned. I can't say much yet. But here we are in qualifying. Our goal was a 30.837. We hit a 31.083, putting us P19 here in Kentucky, so not exactly what we were looking for, of course, but we know that usually we're not going to qualify the greatest. Looking at the rest of qualifying, Joey Logano on pole with Ross Chastain, Elliott Larson, Keselowski to follow. How about Zane Smith? It was confirmed just recently he'll head to Penske Racing next season. 2 part-time drivers, Vargas and Herbst, in the top 15. SVG just outside the top 10. Last episode winner Christopher Bell outside, or just behind me I should say, as well. As we come into this weekend, we as well did have trucks in Xfinity action. The Truck Series, they had their second race of the round of 8. Only 2 rounds of playoffs in the trucks this season, and it was Lawless Allen who picked up the win to punch his ticket into the Final Four alongside RCR rookie and very likely on the Cup grid next season, Brent Cruz. And looking at the playoff grid in the Truck Series, Riley Herbst goes into the final race of the round of 8 next episode with a 34-point advantage over Colby Howard. Bailey Curry out by 4. Cam Waters, the Supercars star, out by 7 points. Going into a road course, he very well could have some success. On the Xfinity side of things, Justin Allgaier wins again. He won 2 races in the first round of 12 of the playoffs. Now, it was an elimination race for the Xfinity Series, and you can see the rest of the finishing order on your screen, but the playoff grid, 4 drivers were eliminated. Sheldon Creed, rookie Andres Perez, Carson Kvapil, as well as Sam Mayer. Suarez, Deegan, both the last 2 drivers in by still double-digit points now as we head into the second race of the round of 12 here in the Cup Series at Kentucky.
Round of 12, race 2. Who can move on to the round of 8 tonight and join Christopher Bell, who won last week?
Lots of speed in those Toyotas lately. I think they can put some unexpected pressure on Hendrick Motorsports here. Watch out for Ty Gibbs tonight.
Right, guys, not a comfortable position to start today, but yeah, just stay on it. We'll hope for the best and just try and focus on increasing that point gap above the cut line.
Be ready for anything here. Some guys are going to get aggressive tonight.
NASCAR's last race here at Kentucky before it's replaced by Nashville Superspeedway next season for season 5. I would love to win the last race here like we tried to win the last race in Auto Club but came up P3 instead. The green flag is out and the second race of the round of 12 is underway. Joey Logano and Ross Chastain, Penske and Trackhouse the front row as we head down towards turn number 1 in this Quaker State 400. Bubba Wallace right there on my outside just behind me, future teammate Carson Hocevar in the number 8. Sounds like there might be a number change coming next season. He was supposed to drive the number 7 full time. Sounds like they could be switching over to a different number instead for Hocevar. Nonetheless, we roll into turn 3, taking our time. We got 27 laps of racing. We will have live updates on the playoffs at the end of both stage 1 as well as stage 2, so stay tuned on that. The big name, of course, to watch out for, Joey Logano. What a season turnaround it has been. He has won 2 races now and finds himself below the cut line by only 1 single point to Chase Briscoe. So Logano definitely going to be on the push tonight here in Kentucky after starting up front, but he's going backwards right now. He needs points in all stages if he wants to put himself in a good position going into Watkins Glen. Christopher Bell won the first race of the round of 16 to punch his ticket into this round, and then he won the first race of the round of 12, and he's already locked into the round of 8. No pressure whatsoever for him. I feel like Toyota is firing on all cylinders for the first time this season in about the last 10 races or so. Of course, having to adapt to this new body of race car, which does suck. About our move for next season going to Junior Motorsports is, of course, we're going to be adapting to a new race car again as Chevrolet moves over to Cadillac. So that's going to be really interesting to see how that plays a role in the development of season 5, but it could very well be similar to how this season has gone. It takes a while for the ball to get rolling, but we'll wait and see. You never know what's going to happen. Early on, Ty Gibbs out in front defending Cup Series champion. He has felt all season long like he needs to prove himself more than ever, and that's as a champion because, of course, in the way he won his first Cup Series championship, it was quite controversial with that Final Four race going the way it did. So Gibbs feels like he needs to win another championship immediately, and as many would say, the right way, and he's got the perfect opportunity to do it the right way with the Final Four now being a 3-race winner-take-all with the most points at the end of those 3 races. It's going to be a straight-up champion for the first time, which is very exciting here. Now Chandler Smith, my teammate, has gotten past me. He's coming up off of a couple back-to-back top 10s, actually. Chandler Smith has seeming to be finding a way to step it up and maybe getting into his groove a little bit here at JGR, so I think he's going to be having a lot of confidence going into the end of the season and looking into next season. Of course, this is his second full-time season as a Cup driver, impressed at Colleague, and then got the call up to Joe Gibbs Racing here as Denny Hamlin retired and hasn't quite performed the way he would like to. But I do believe Chandler Smith is going to be a threat next season, especially if he can continue doing what he's done the last few races, as he's now up to 14th. Ryan Blaney, he comes into this race less than 10 points above the cut line. Had a lot of consistency this season. Hasn't quite visited victory lane as many times as I'm sure he would like to. Ty Gibbs, another example of that. Gibbs has only won twice, but it's been all recent as I crashed into the outside wall there on the exit of turn 4, and that's going to allow Alex Bowman, who's carving his way through the field, replacing me next season, to go by, and same for Corey Heim. Caution out, actually, and it's because William Sawalich has blown a tire. Yellow out for the Legacy Motor Club driver after the news that Legacy Motor Club splitting from their partnership with GMS, who will be starting their own team next season as well. Everybody into the pits. Blaney was out in front over Ty Gibbs at the time. We are only P17. We've got some work to do. Stage points are very important, especially when the driver around us, Joey Logano, that's below the cut line, finds himself, of course, inside the top 10 on points currently. Not the situation we want to be seeing right now with a little over 10 laps to go in stage number 1. Corey Heim, another driver kind of similar to Chandler Smith, really been stepping it up recently. So I think Heim, a very similar season, honestly, to Chandler Smith. Their second full-time season in the Cup Series. They both did decent in their rookie seasons to get a good ride, and they just haven't quite performed in their first season with those new teams. But I really think they're focusing in on next season. How about Rajan Caruth? You see him up there in front in that 48. Not quite the speed we have seen out of him recently. He has been so close to winning his first race as a rookie throughout the season. Hasn't quite been able to make it happen. As Zane Smith as well, having a great run once again in that 38. Probably this season's biggest performer in a what I would call an underfunded car. Zane Smith has had a fantastic season in that 38. Didn't make the playoffs, of course, but it would have been, I would have been putting him in a Hendrick car if he would have made the playoffs. He would have been that impressive now as we continue to battle it out with Corey Heim. Here comes Alex Bowman again. We already talked about it. He's replacing me next season. He has done great things for Richard Childress Racing, been the top driver at that team all season long, has outrun that, of course, car, I would say, through the majority of the season. As we drop down to P18, you do notice some drivers have playoff tags. Completely ignore those because although it says Haley's in the playoffs in the game, he's not actually, because keep in mind, we do the playoffs completely differently and manually now in this career mode. An example, it shows no playoff tag on Van Gisbergen, but he is in the playoffs now, as you see that yellow banner on his windshield. That's just because, like I said, the game does the playoffs differently than we do now, because of the fact that we completely changed the playoff system to, of course, start a few races earlier and have those few races extra for the final four. Nonetheless, continuing to work our way forward, but it's the final lap already of stage 1, and it's all Ty Gibbs. Ty Gibbs didn't win a single stage before the playoffs began. Now he's looking to win his, I believe, 4th stage right here if he can pull it off. Both my teammates in the playoffs, Bell and Gibbs, have stepped it up significantly, and Gibbs wins stage 1 over Blaney, Reddick, the first non-playoff driver, Larson and Kozlowski. Larson starting to look a bit stronger, back to his usual form, and we had huge drama last episode with Kyle Larson and Richmond, and I am certainly not going to race that 5 with a lot of space going forward, that's for sure, but we have to be in position to get there. Of course, Logano inside the top 10 isn't exactly what I wanted to see as he manages P8, so only 3 points. Smith got the 10th. Byron gets a couple of points as well, so we'll take a look at the playoff grid here in just a second. Updated now. We gained 2 spots in the pit, so up to P13, so we're slowly carving our way forward. Smith loses a few spots now. Green flag back out here from Kentucky. Stage 2 is underway. We'll take a look at the playoff grid now. Following stage number 1, we still find ourselves above the cut line because of Chase Briscoe now going below it. So basically, I went from the second driver in to the first driver in by 1 single point over Briscoe. Logano scoring the points he did puts him 2 points above the cut line. Busher out by 14. Byron 24. SVG 30 full points below the cut line. Ryan Blaney had a great stage, putting himself 14 points above the cut line, and Ty Gibbs, a stage 1 winner, goes to 29 points above the cut line. Kyle Larson 41 points above, looking pretty good as we head down into turn 1. Larson scored a top 5 there in stage 1 as well, quietly in the conversation for that stage win. He was in that same frame, so don't count out that number 5 HendrickCars.com Chevrolet, as now Busher going to get down to the inside. Now he's going to go kind of towards the middle. Leave the door open for me on the inside, but I just can't get this car to really do what I need it to do on a short run. Some of these tracks we just find ourselves struggling on the short runs, and this is one of those tracks. So we're hoping for 23 more laps of racing here in stage 2. We want this to stay green as long as possible, as Gibbs leads the way through 1 and 2 as we go up the racetrack. Here comes RFK's Justin Haley. It's been a miserable season outside of that Phoenix win. Things just have not gone well. He is still signed on through next season, so Haley will get at least 1 more season to try and prove himself with RFK. He won 2 races the last season, had a way better season than this season went, that's for sure. But RFK as a whole, I think, although all of their cars outside of Chris Busher have visited victory lane, I felt like last season was a bit stronger as a whole. Chase Briscoe kind of the flagship right now as a new driver for RFK, although he currently finds himself below the cut line, but just winning a few episodes ago in Auto Club to pick up his 2nd second win of the season. Here comes Rajan Caruth. He would get past me on the inside, then he would jump back up to the top here on lap 6 through 3 and 4. Now 20 laps coming to 19 to go in the stage. Zane Smith P15, but like I said, I'm just hoping that we get a nice long green flag run to allow myself to be able to materialize an advantage, but that's not going to happen. My teammate Christopher Bell in the outside wall with a tire down, and the caution will fly here from Kentucky. I believe Bell will still remain in the race. Everybody, it looks like, is going to stay out, so we will all remain on the racetrack and get ready to go back racing. I know at the timing of that caution, it's really close on fuel, so we'll wait and see exactly what it looks like as we're back underway here now. And I believe Christopher Bell is actually out of this race. I saw Sawallich and I believe the 20 in the pit lane, as that doesn't matter for Christopher Bell. He won last episode, so he's already locked in to the round of 8, so he really could not care any less here. Now as SVG is going to go through on the inside, we're stacking up on the top. Here comes the 98 Mahindra Tractors machine of Chase Briscoe and that Ford Mustang as we dive down into turn 3. Ryan Vargas on my outside, right rear quarter panel. Josh Berry in the 16, side by side with Bubba Wallace. They're 3 wide now, actually behind us. Bubba Wallace, we know, leaving 2311 after quite a few seasons with that team. He will be headed to Andretti Global for next season, and I think that's a great move, honestly. I think Bubba Wallace is going to fit in well there, and a driver with a lot of experience with a team that doesn't have a lot of experience, nor do they have drivers with a lot of experience. They're going to still have Nick Sanchez on the team as well as Sammy Smith next season, so I'll be curious to see what they can do. Of course, they currently have Rookie of the Year contender Connor Zilish, who looks poised to win Rookie of the Year, but we know he's headed to a 4th full-time Trackhouse car next season. Ryan Blaney's battling for the lead with Ty Gibbs. They have been the class of the field. It's been Gibbs and Blaney 1-2 for the majority of this race. Gibbs gets back to the lead. I get back to the inside of the 97. Beautiful paint scheme on that 97 of Shane Van Gisbergen, but what we're seeing early on in this race is SVG doesn't have the speed he needs, and same for the 17 of Chris Buescher. They need to be scoring, 7-8 points a stage right now to have any hope, and they're not scoring anything. So they are going to be looking at hopefully maybe a miracle in stage 3, or if that doesn't happen, they need to go into Watkins Glen with the mentality of they have to win the race, and none of them have won yet this season. Nonetheless, lap 17 of 25, we are continuing now to go forward. We passed our teammate of Chandler Smith. He's going to fight back though on the outside with that momentum, moving him back around to the basically even with us, and we would continue to fight with him up the inside into turn 3, lap 18, but this time we're going to clear him and get the 48 as well of Rookie of the Year contender Rajan Caruth, and completely forgot about Caruth. He has had such a strong last 10 races or so ever since the bad luck went away. He actually might be the Rookie of the Year leader at this point, so that will be coming next episode. I'll make sure, or within the next 2 episodes, to actually take a look at what's going on in that Rookie of the Year situation now. 5 laps to go, and there it is. We only have 4 laps of fuel, which means everybody is in that same situation, and that is going to certainly present a bit of an issue.
Okay, we cannot make it to the end of the stage here. Everyone's screwed up. Be ready to pit.
You hear the call from James Smallin with 3 to go. There's the fuel light, and that's the 2-lap warning, which means we'd be running out in the middle of 1 and 2 on the final lap. Not a chance to make it back now at a decent pace, and Ryan Blaney is now pitting from the lead of this race, and we're going to do the same. Ty Gibbs keeps on going. They are all going to stretch it 1 more lap, but we are going to pit with several other drivers as well, but we're actually going to get penalized for coming in.
19 car penalty. Pits are closed with 2 to go, and the 54 already passed the finish line.
What do we do now, James?
Hope for no yellow is all we can do. They still have to pit this time in front of us.
We're penalized for entering a closed pit lane, hoping for no caution because we will lose a lap. There it is. Connor Zilish is crashing. Of course he is. And that is going to put us a lap down. 30-second pit stop, and we have to wait and see the damage. The stage is going to be over as well. I don't know where we're going to be. I really have no clue. 33rd. Oh boy. And we are going to be a lap down. And SVG is in the same situation. Ryan Blaney as well. Ryan Blaney is going to get the free pass, but Chastain, myself, as well as Chris Buescher and SVG playoff driver is going to be trapped a lap down. Wow. And everyone was pitting except for Tyler Reddick, who stays out and eliminates the waiver round as an option for myself and others. That has ruined our race by Tyler Reddick remaining on the racetrack, and Chandler Smith as well is out front. I don't know if he stayed out, but he might have taken like 2 tires or something because it showed him pitting. But wow, this is a complete disaster. Ty Gibbs did win the stage. That's his 5th stage win and puts himself now 39 points above the cut line. I myself am lucky in a way. Chase Briscoe didn't score a point. So, we're still 1 point above the cut line. Zilish slides into turn 3, but now we know if we don't get back onto the lead lap here, we are going to finish worse than 30th, and although we're 1 point above the cut line right now, we're going to be in a really bad position going into Watkins Glen, because we will definitely not be above the cut line. We're still running into drivers now. It's complete chaos here, 4 wide, as we went down into turn 1, and we come together with Shane Van Gisbergen. Here's one potential possibility that helps us. Busher and SVG, who are trying to run us down in the cut line, find themselves in the exact same scenario. However, Byron as well as Briscoe are in a significantly better position than myself and in position to go above me in the cut line right now. Ty Gibbs back out in front of this race now as we're 3 wide in the middle. I'm trying to work my way forward. Look at this absolute nest of cars right here. Being as patient as I can be. Kyle Busch struggling now as well. Ryan Blaney on the lead lap. He had the next fastest car outside of Ty Gibbs. I actually passed Blaney. He went to the middle and I just breezed by him on the inside and followed Kyle Busch, who'd gotten back out in front of me. But we're P35 and not in position right now for the free pass. Chastain also not in the free pass. It's Zane Smith right now in the 38, I believe, who's in position for the free pass. So we have to pass the 1 car and we have to pass Zane Smith as well. And here comes Chris Buescher for position now. Gibbs continues to lead. Now here comes Blaney as well up my inside. He's not for position. I originally thought he was, but realized he wasn't. He passes me on the inside. Can he get his way back up to Ty Gibbs before this race is over? Now 30 laps to go, and we are continuing to try and claw our way forward. Smith is side by side with Chastain. Smoke from, I believe, the 23 of Bubba Wallace it is, and the caution is out for Bubba Wallace. Blown engine, and Smith was barely in front of Chastain. He will get the free pass. No, he won't. Keselowski, well, Keselowski got by them both. So Keselowski, your free pass, and we decide, okay, we might as well pit and try something. And I believe Chastain, Chastain stays out. So we're right with him, SVG and Busher, but now we got fresher tires by not a lot, but we still have a tire advantage. We're back racing here from Kentucky, and Bubba Wallace is actually still in the race, so that 23 is still going. You can see him a few rows in front of us on that inside, that gray car, as we head down towards turn 1. So now, as it currently stands, we're racing against Chastain and Zane Smith for the free pass. We got to try and find a way around them and then hope for a caution, and if it stays green, then the only option we are going to have at that point is going to be basically staying out as long as we possibly can, and then hope that all the leaders pit and we get the caution, which is the main reason I made that pit stop right there. I wasn't even thinking about the free pass. I was thinking about going longer than the lead lap cars and then hope for a caution to come out. We clear the 38 and the 97 as we exit turn 2. Free pass Keselowski working on moving his way back forward. Chastain is the current free pass leader, and we are trying to get to the back of that Wendy's machine. Chastain has a great car here in Kentucky and now finds himself in trouble as well, and he knows he needs to get the best finish he can as we are 3 wide on the exit of turn 2. Austin Hill, Talladega winner from earlier this season, on my outside now as we look to the outside of the 42 Dollar Tree Toyota Camry, Legacy Motor Club driver of John Hunter Nemechek. As we exit turn 4, we'll clear that number 42. Chastain is right there, but we can't quite get to him as we continue to follow through traffic. How about Nick Sanchez for Andretti Global in that Honda, having a nice top 25 run here again in that Gainbridge 26, 3 wide with him and Noah Gregson, another future teammate of mine, as we dive down into turn 3 behind the 51 Rick Ware machine of Ryan Preece. Riley Herbst just in front, 3 wide with Josh Berry and Chastain, who continues to work his way through traffic now as we just continue to try and follow. Ty Gibbs out in front cruising, I would say, to the victory here tonight in Kentucky. He swept the first 2 stages, and now Ryan Blaney, he will definitely not have enough time to run him down. Blaney is trying to get there, but I just don't think that's going to happen. So Gibbs really should be able to cruise to victory here now as we continue going forward, but just not enough because Chastain is still out in front of us now. Zilish and Briscoe side by side. Briscoe not having a great run, which does help me if this is where we end up finishing now. Chastain 32nd, 33rd for myself. We're both in position to take a big hit now. Car in the pit, smoke pouring out of the back. Couldn't quite tell who that was, but now on the inside of the 2 of Todd Gilliland, we know pit stops are right around the corner now for the lead lap cars. So this is going to get really interesting because, like I said, we have to hope that a caution is going to come out, but only after everybody on the lead laps pitted and we put ourselves back onto the lead lap, and it could get really wild if that does happen. 15 laps to go in this race, and well, we have put all of our cards in on one thing, and that's a miracle. We need a Kentucky miracle to save our race and maybe save our playoffs. Here we go. Leaders pitting. Ty Gibbs in. Chastain's in as well because they, of course, although they're a lap down, same situation, they have to pit, so that helps us. We're now the free pass if a caution comes out right now. So that is going to be a positive. But the rest of the leaders pit as we exit turn 4. Larson, Elliott, they both come in, and now we are officially back on the lead lap, hoping right now for a caution sometime within the next 4 or 5 laps, because we will have to pit within about 4 or 5 laps, as Bubba Wallace now is going to be behind myself. We're going to come back around through traffic. Ryan Blaney crashes into the outside wall in turn 3. Oh my goodness. One of the drivers that was a class of the field, and we get the miracle caution we needed. And now we're P14 on the lead lap, and we were in the process of lapping cars, and now you can see it's only going to be about 21 cars on the lead lap at the time of the caution. So we are going to be pitting and restarting P21. SVG's trapped 2 laps down. A few drivers have been absolutely screwed by this caution. Ty Gibbs is one of them. He was put 1 lap down in that sequence and was in 23rd. So we're back underway. And well, the guys like Larson and those drivers that pitted the second go around after the main leaders pitted were able to stay on the lead lap. So if we ran 1 more lap, Gibbs would be in a great position, but we didn't. We did not run enough for him to be able to make up the time, and now we find ourselves in one incredible position with less than 10 laps to go. Kyle Busch currently leads this race. How about that? But Larson's right there with them. Chase Briscoe has benefited massively as well. He's had a mediocre car today. He's up inside the top 10 now in that 98 for RFK. This is going to be a big swing for him, but our race has been completely saved, and now we have approximately a 2 lap or so tire advantage on the front runners, which means we're doing exactly this. We're carving our way through the field, and suddenly, not only do we have a chance to save our playoffs, we might have a chance to win this race as we dive down into turn 1 now, looking for a pass around the outside of the 2 of Todd Gilliland. Kyle Larson is now to the lead. The 2 front runners all race long have had a destroyed race. Ryan Blaney crashes and brings out that caution. Ty Gibbs gets caught a lap down and finds himself exactly that. Still 1 lap down. It's a winner take all here as we dive down into turn 1, passing Caruth to the inside of Justin Haley, now eliminated in that round of 16. We look to his left rear. We would clear him through turn 3, and look at this, coming to 3 to go. It's going to be an all-out battle up into 4th. It's Larson. Logano, who came in below the cut line, has driven a great race. He's going to be well above the cut line no matter what happens at this point, unless he crashes. Up the inside of the 9 of Chase Elliott, trying to get clear. He fights back on the exit of 4, going to fight hard to help his teammate of Kyle Larson. Through 1 and 2 with 2 to go, we clear the Napa Auto Parts Chevrolet. Do we have enough to go run down this 22 and the 5 as we approach the final lap of racing here from Kentucky Speedway, and what will be the final lap of racing at Kentucky before it switches over to Nashville Super Speedway next season? Larson high, Logano middle, myself following suit. 1 lap to go as we come through the tri-oval. Larson in a great points position, doesn't need to win this race. Logano, I'm sure, wants to win this one. I want to win this one as well as we go into turn 1, actually into the back of the 22. and he gets a nice speed boost. We still get a bit of a run. We didn't get slowed down, but it certainly didn't help us. Now, Larson, Logano, side by side into turn 3. Larson clear, but he goes high again. He's looking for the momentum down the front stretch. Logano to the inside. We have a run. Can we get to the 5 and get payback? The answer is not quite. It's going to be a drag race to the line. Who's going to get it? Logano bottom, Larson top, photo, finish. Joey Logano does it at the last second. Unbelievable. His 3rd win of the season and locks himself into the round of 8 here from Kentucky Speedway. And look at the result. He won by 1/1000th of a second over Kyle Larson. Unbelievable. And you see now the rest of the finishing order. How about Carruth in P6, Briscoe P9? That might have saved his playoffs as well, that caution, just like it just saved my playoff. Connor Zilish inside the top 10, a great run for him. Bubba Wallace Balloon Engine still gets a top 20 out of it now, as you see the bottom 20 as well. And Ty Gibbs ended up down in 28th, so he went backwards after that restart, just didn't go anywhere. But big hits for Chastain as well as Chris Buescher and SVG. So Buescher and SVG, they were already below the cut line. They're going to have to win going into Watkins Glen, so it's going to be a difficult one. And Byron as well in 25th. So, of course, now the main question is the playoff grid going into the elimination race at Watkins Glen. Next episode, Ryan Blaney is out now by 6 points, just behind, well, it's going to be Chastain that he's trying to beat now, and Briscoe is good by 9. Ty Gibbs is only good by 9. We are good now by 16 points. That caution saved our entire season. William Byron, as well as Buescher and SVG, they all have to win. Very straightforward, but it's going to be a fight between Blaney, Chastain, Briscoe, and now Ty Gibbs. Gibbs and Blaney had the 2 dominant cars, and now they find themselves in position to have to fight each other to move on in the playoffs. Did not expect that even at the start of Stage 3. What a turnaround now as Logano continues an incredible turnaround, and what we thought was going to be a season of retirement now turns into a championship potential run. I'll see you guys next episode in Watkins Glen for the season, or the round of 12 finale, and we'll find out the 4 drivers that get eliminated. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.